Philosophical and Religious Foundations of Pacifism, Section 3. Welcome back, everyone. So far, we've looked at the broad definition of pacifism and traced its roots in early Christianity and beyond. Today, we take a step deeper into the philosophical and religious foundations of pacifism. Pacifism has never been only a political stance. It is a moral conviction, a spiritual discipline, and an ethical worldview. To understand it fully, we must explore both the religious virtues that sustain it and the philosophical arguments that justify it. Pacifism as a practical tradition. Pacifism has often been carried forward not by intellectual elites, but by those on the margins, activists, women, people of color, and oppressed communities. It was not a dominant academic philosophy until much later. Instead, it emerged as a practical tradition lived out in the streets, in protests, and in daily resistance to systems of oppression. This reminds us that pacifism is more than an idea. It is a practice, an embodied commitment to peace in the face of violence. Religious virtues behind pacifism. Many religious traditions link pacifism to their highest virtues: love, to will the good of the other, even the enemy; forgiveness, refusing to perpetuate cycles of revenge; mercy, showing compassion instead of retribution; respect for life, treating all human beings as sacred and often extending this respect to animals and creation itself. Pacifism is not only the absence of violence, but the presence of peace, harmony, and well-being in human relations. It is a positive ideal, aiming for spiritual and social transformation. Ethical perspectives supporting pacifism. Philosophers have approached pacifism through several ethical lenses. Consequentialism argues that violence produces more harm than good, while nonviolence yields better long-term outcomes. Deontological ethics insists that killing is inherently wrong, regardless of consequences. Here, life is seen as a supreme moral value. Virtue ethics emphasizes peace as a personal character trait. A virtuous person is patient, compassionate, and nonviolent. Taken together, these perspectives show how pacifism can be justified on different grounds: by outcomes, by principles, and by the cultivation of character. Pacifism, across traditions beyond Christianity, other religions and philosophies have made pacifism central to their moral vision. Hinduism and Buddhism, the principle of ahimsa, or non-harm, which extends to all living beings. Jainism, perhaps the most radical form of nonviolence, avoiding harm to even the smallest creatures. Christianity, the Sermon on the Mount and teachings of Jesus on enemy love. Islam, though often misunderstood, contains traditions of restraint, mercy, and peace alongside the notion of just struggle. Secular philosophy. Enlightenment thinkers and modern ethicists have argued for pacifism as a rational, humanistic alternative to violence. Studying pacifism across cultures shows us that it is not confined to one religion or ideology. It is a cross-cultural moral ideal. Peace as transformation. Another key theme is that pacifism views peace not simply as the absence of war, but as a positive state of justice, reconciliation, and flourishing. It calls for social reform, not just conflict avoidance. It challenges the justification of war, insisting that force does not make right. It reframes peace as an end in itself, not a byproduct of power, but the foundation of true community. Pacifism's critical role. Why does pacifism matter in philosophy and religion? Because it keeps alive the critique that violence is not inevitable, not natural, and not morally neutral. It asks us to imagine alternatives. It insists that cycles of violence can be broken. It forces societies to confront the gap between their ideals and their practices. Through both religious and secular foundations, pacifism holds a mirror to humanity, asking, do we really believe in the dignity of every human life, or only when it is convenient? Closing. So, in Section 3, we've seen that pacifism is not only a political position, it is deeply philosophical and spiritual, rooted in virtues like love and forgiveness, supported by ethical theories like consequentialism and deontology, and carried across religious and cultural traditions. Pacifism provides a powerful alternative to the logic of violence. Next, we'll move into Section 4, where we'll focus on key figures in pacifist thought, Gandhi, Tolstoy, and Martin Luther King Jr., and see how they embodied and developed these principles in practice.